Hello, hello. Thank you for joining me today. Dana here. Today I will be showing you how to make this fun whimsical shaker card using supplies from Colorado Craft Company as well as Whimsy stamps. If you haven't already, please do consider subscribing to my channel. It does really help push out my videos to others who may enjoy them. And while you're there, if you wouldn't mind pampering that like button, I do greatly appreciate it. Now let's get on to the making. To start off this card, I wanted to go ahead and make some background papers. I'm starting here with Cracked Pistachio Distress Stain. Now this one is in the dauber bottle. You can absolutely use the spray for this. I just happen to have both, so I wanted to use the dauber up first before I crack open the spray. I am simply just adding color to the white paper. You could also use any of the ink pads if that's all you have as well. I'm just simply coloring the background here. And I'm going to go ahead and dry it off in between each layer with my heat tool. That way I can add some dimension and build up the color a bit. After adding 2 layers of the cracked pistachio, I wanted to add just a bit of sparkle. So I sprayed a little bit of the Frosty Mint Distress Mica Stain on that. And then I'll go ahead and dry that off with my heat tool as well. Here is the finished piece. Now the camera doesn't pick up the sparkle, but this is very shimmery in real life. And then for the second paper, I wanted to do more of a pinkish color. So I went in with saltwater taffy. Same thing, I added several layers. This one I ended up using the spray because I don't have a dauber in this. I don't think they actually made a dauber in this because it is one of the newer colors. But anyway, I did a couple of layers of the spray and I dried that off with my heat tool in between each layer. And then for the shimmer, I went in with Sugary Gumdrop Distress Mica Stain. Off camera, I colored up these cute images. These are from the Sweater Weather set from Colorado Craft Company, and I colored those with my distress colored pencils, and I'll just go ahead and cut those out with the coordinating die. And then once those background papers were good and dry, I cut the greenish teal one out with this die from Whimsy stamps. This is the Nightmare die set. It is for a traditional slimline size card. And I just lined it up so it's straight-ish on that background paper because I'm actually going to be using the negative for this card. And then I ran that through my Spellbinders machine. Here I'm just cutting off the excess with my guillotine trimmer. I have no idea what the final size of this ended up being. I just kind of eyeballed it to give it like a 1/4 of an inch-ish edge around the border there. And then I cut down the pink paper to roughly the same size. And I wanted to add some snowflakes to the pink paper because this will end up being the background of the shaker card. So you'll be able to see this through the shaker window. I just grabbed this snowflake stencil that I had in my stash. This is out of a pack that I got off of Amazon. And I'm just using my blending brush and I'm stenciling on some Distress ink in Dusty Concord. And this stencil didn't cover the entire page of the background, so I did end up kind of just moving it around to add snow to the blank places that you see on the sides. Once I got the background stenciled, I wanted to go ahead and start assembling the card. So here I'm just gluing a sheet of transparency film onto the teal piece, and I'm gluing that on with my collage medium. Once that was dry, I added 2 layers of foam tape around the outside, and I'm just adding some sequins. These I believed I picked up at Hobby Lobby years ago. I don't know. It was one of the craft stores. They're just some white holographic sequins. And then to add a bit more sparkle, I added a little bit of rock candy glitter. And then some Distress mica flakes. Then I removed the backing on the foam tape, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere the pink piece. And here's the final shaker window. Admittedly, I played with this and shook it around for quite a while. This was the first like traditional, like I mean by traditional, not flat, shaker card that I have made in quite a while. So I did play with that for a while. And then I grabbed the images and I'm just popping those up on some foam squares. These are the thinner black foam squares from Simon Says Stamp. Before I added those images on, I wanted to go ahead and glue the shaker portion of the card to the actual card base. This is a card base that I made out of literally gluing 2 pieces of paper together. Again, I have no idea the dimensions on this. I eyeballed everything. I figure I measure and am precise enough in my bath and body production and making. With paper crafting, I'm ish. I measure to the nearest ish and I eyeball a lot. I'm more free that way. And I again just glued that on with my collage medium. And then I'll go ahead and add the sweater images. I did one on each side and then the sentiment in the center. The sentiment is also from that same sweater weather set, and it does have its own coordinating die. And it says it's officially ugly, and there's an extra ugly sweater weather. So cute. I love the like funny, punny sentiments. And then here's the final shaker card. Again, I played with this for quite a while, just watching all the sequins and glitter shake around in there. And I was sitting in my craft room and I decided that I wanted to use the positive piece from that background that we cut out. So I made another card using all the same materials. It's just not a shaker card. So to start off, I did again stamp out a couple of the sweater images. I just used the penguin and the polar bear for this one. And I stamped those in my Nocturne black ink. And since I was going to go ahead and watercolor those, I did heat emboss them with clear embossing powder. And here I'm just coloring in the images with a water brush and my colored pencils. How I typically use my distress colored pencils is I just grab the water brush and I use them like their own palette essentially. So I just wipe my water brush on the tip of the pencil and then add the color to my paper. You can always actually color with the pencil on your paper and then go over it with a water brush later if that's what you prefer to do. And you can use just a paintbrush and water. You don't actually have to have a water brush. Then to do my ish measuring, I glued that piece, that cutout piece, to another pink background that I made at the same time that I had made the previous ones. And I just eyeballed it, glued it on, and then cut off all the excess. And then I glued the card panel to the card base before I added the images. And again, I popped the images up on the same foam squares from Simon Says. And then added all the images on in roughly the same position as the first card. And here's the final second card. Let me know in the comments below which you like better, if you like the shaker card or just the traditional flat card. And as always, take some time to pamper your inner goddess, and I will see you in the next one.